I want to welcome everyone back to the Spilled Milk podcast. We haven't done one in a while, but the eagle had landed. A guy that I've been in contact with for what? A year, maybe less than a year.
Maybe even longer.
But someone I call a real friend in the industry because we don't see that a lot.
Yeah,
but we got Harm Franklin.
Oh my God. How you doing, bro?
How's things, man?
Good, man. Just trying to keep winning.
How you liking Vancouver? What's been going on the last few days?
I love Vancouver. It's one of my favorite cities in the world, to be honest. And I always have such a good time here.
Yeah.
Out of any city, I actually get the most love in Van than anywhere. As far as people just walking up and me yo, you know what I mean? So,
why do you think that is in terms of the love that you get locally, because you're from Calgary and surrounding area, and I kind of feel this a lot too. But actually, you know what? Most people have kind of shown some love.
Yeah.
But I notice when I go to Calgary or Edmonton or Toronto, the reception so much more. So why do you think that is?
I feel it's we talked about it the other day, the familiarity, people that grew up and seen you around, at the 7-Eleven or at the, playing basketball. It's people kind of where you're from take you for granted.
Yes.
Then you go elsewhere and then you see how real the love is and you're like, oh shit, damn, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying?
But,
so it's,
but the thing is what if it goes into that thing where it's the more you know someone, the more you end up not liking them.
People. So they just don't fuck with me because they really know me.
They really know who you are.
That guy's bad action.
Yeah.
No, I still think it's a little bit of just a familiarity and someone's always in your face. You're just oh, whatever. It's just this guy again.
Yeah.
Whereas you go elsewhere, it's oh, yo, it's you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more of that and just people are just kind of you're just used to you.
Gotcha. From my perspective, it's kind of I've seen you, throughout the numerous years and things. But I felt you were never really a wave of the brown scene. You were a rapper who was brown, but I never felt that all the brown people were oh yeah,
embracing.
Harm's here. Yeah. And I feel you've had, not that they weren't at all, but I feel you had more a mixed fucking rise.
Yeah, for sure. I do kind of relate to that, and I do I'm glad somebody else said it.
Yeah,
because it's I don't I haven't felt fully embraced like that, but maybe it's because I wasn't using that as a crutch. I was just I'm just trying to make dope shit. You know what I mean? So it's and then if you find out that I am, then you rock with it even more. You're oh what? I'd rather it be oh shit, this guy's Punjabi, hell yeah, rather than Punjabi on the lodge, fucking, which is I fuck with that too, but it's that's just I'm more easygoing.
Yeah.
So, but that's just always been that.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to branch into that lane a little bit more too, and show that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel I'm the right person to do that.
Yeah.
It's
you've already been on the other side.
Exactly. I've done something that's actually credible on this side, so I can actually bring it over here.
So I mean, one thing is I guess have you done a lot of these podcasts and interviews and shit like that?
Yo, this is honestly the first podcast I've done in a hot minute. Eagle has landed.
So people
for sure.
want to know, where Harm's been. Yeah. I don't know the story, so tell me about the early stage of Harm Franklin. What happened there? So what day did you have where you were you know what, I'm gonna be a rapper?
Man, growing up, I was always the rapper kid.
Okay.
I was always the guy, the rapper kid.
It's a little gay.
When I was in what'd you say?
I said it's a little gay, but
come on, man. Big dreams, No, but it's people always knew that I was always into music, and when I was say I was grade 7, the grade 9s would always come up and be yo, it's the rapper kid, Buster, do a rap for us, and I do my little 1-2, and everyone just be oh, so it was sick. So and then I would start out when I first started, I would just take verses that I like or lines that I like and put them together and make a super verse, and then slowly I start subbing in my own little dinky lines and you know what I mean,
absolutely,
and then eventually just phasing those out, and I would almost start as a diary, because when I was 9, some crazy shit happened with my family, where my brother, he went to jail and my dad left, so it was just me, my mom, and my sister, and I was just almost thinking about it now, is that was kind of journaling, And it was now that I think about it, I've never actually talked about it like that. So yeah, it's it was kind of journaling, you know what I mean? And then I slowly would just add the bars to it and a little sauce, and then tried at a 1-2, and then I met my other boy who we would we were just in write cool punchlines, and then more and more developing, and then a talent show 1-2. Then when I was 16, 17, I was like, I was like, you know, one of the kids came to me because like the rapper kid, he's like, yo, we can record in my like basement, you know, undeveloped pink fucking stuff out, like, on like GarageBand, not even on Logic. He's like, yo, I can record, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's try it out.
How old are you? Okay, so in that moment, was there already like kind of a lane like built out, or was it still like fresh and like it was like real fucking like
coming up in Calgary, bro?
Yeah,
holy, like that. Especially when I was coming up, it was like it's already like a, you know, prejudiced place. It's like, you know, conservative, like white background, and most of the rappers there were all like boom bap. You know what I'm saying? It was all like real hip hop.
Okay,
that shit.
I'm
like
a real MC.
yeah, like 90s shit, like the 90s like rap. You know what I mean? And I was like, and like when I was in like, when I was in high school, all the white kids, they all dressed like super like baggy, like sag clothes, and they all listened to 90s rap, and like they're just like, fuck that shit, bro. Put on some like obscure like Brother Lynch Hung and like, you know, like Pac, and like I was like, man, I just got like, man, fuck this. I'm like, let's make some new shit now. You know, I'm cool with the old shit. So I was coming with a newer sound, and like I got a lot of hate. A, because I was brown, and B, because like I was the youngest and like better than most people, and and also because fucking I wasn't making that sound, so it was tougher. So it's like, you know, it just made me more of a beast. And then I started doing like rap battles, like KOTD. Yeah. And like, you know, I've battled some legendary dudes now. Like Sharon is like, I was telling you, he's like one of the best in the world now. He's on Wild 'N Out. Yeah. Shout out Sharon.
You're like, Israel Adesanya, when you're talking about Alex Pereira, he's like, oh yeah, one time.
You know, like married with kids, when you talking about the 4 touchdowns.
You're in a bar. You know, did you ever see yourself in a podcast studio at 29?
Hey, man, it'd be like that.
And I get less than 1,000 views.
It's all good, baby. They all count, man. It's the building blocks. But I forgot what I was saying. But
well, I guess like, you know, you started the battle rap thing.
The battling.
What was the album? Sorry to cut you off there. What was the album that you listened to and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do
as a youngin'? Shit, Nellyville.
Okay, wow.
A legendary album.
That's actually when you were like
Nellyville 9, and Get Rich or Die Trying. I feel like our generation, Get Rich or Die Trying, that's just like a game changer of an album. And I was like, wow. I was like, this is so fucking cool.
I was in grade 7 when that dropped.
Oh, sick. So you were like young hooligan. That probably ruined you, like corrupted you. Like,
no, the only thing that's ever ruined the brown community is Scarface. I swear to God.
Yo, that's facts, bro.
It's 100%. I think it's been discussed numerous times, but that movie has actually killed more Punjabi people at a young age than anything else. Like, forget
even
a
girls,
bad household.
Like, even brown girls. Scarface has ruined brown girls' minds,
100%.
too.
Forget a bad household, alcoholic dad, fucking, like, anything, like, you know, it's your fucking older cousins who were probably 14 or 15 at the time showing you Scarface when you were like 8 or 9.
And in BC's case, listening to Detroit rap.
Detroit rap? I don't know. I don't
like Detroit music. Okay. I'm sure you could like
Eminem?
relate. No,
Insane
bro.
Clown Posse?
No, just put it this way. There's this rapper from Detroit called Payroll Giovanni. Legend, right?
Absolutely.
So he hasn't done a show anywhere in America for like for a long time. Yeah. But he did a show packed out, sold out in Vancouver last year. Yeah. So that just tells you how hard they fuck with like that shit here.
Yeah. No. The drug dealer rap is big out here. Yeah. You know, it's like very obscure. Like regular people don't really listen to it. Yeah. But those shows will be packed out all the time.
But BC too, like BC is like our California. So they adopted like the weed culture and they also adopted the gang culture too. You know what I mean?
Big time.
Like there's never been a more dangerous middle class, I don't think ever in the world. Yeah. As far as like, seriously. Think about that. Like these kids are like 17, 18, their mom bought them whatever they want growing up. They drive like a new Beamer, all the Jordans, and like they have like 4 bodies. You're like, what the fuck? Like, damn. Like,
no, seriously, man. Honestly, that's how it is out here. Yeah. I went to the French Montana concert. I can't remember how many years ago. It might have been 6 or 7. Bro, like the amount of scraps like in that place, it was insane. And like, I just went with one buddy, right? Yeah. I'm like, dude, like this is fucking like an uncomfortable scene to be at. Damn. Because everyone's, you know, iced out, wearing fucking, there's fucking fights breaking out here, like over there. People are not friendly. Like, you don't even want to talk to any girls because you're like, okay, like, you know, which way is this gonna go? Right?
That's
And
why
the
it's
bitches,
almost
yeah.
that's why it's almost a blessing that I was raised in Calgary because it's
Yeah.
such a like a different circumstance. Whereas like and especially because I was in the Northeast and
Yeah.
then like we moved to the Southeast, which was more of a white area.
Yeah.
So then it was really culture shock, and I was really like the old like the one of the onlys at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like if I was raised here, fuck, I'd be probably a different like such a different like hooligan. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or like yeah,
Like, Calgary's
crazy.
pretty rough too.
Yeah, everywhere has its places and people. You know what I'm saying?
I know some good friends of mine out there.
Yeah.
They're like, it's pretty fucking grimy out there as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like I've seen that side too. Like
Yeah.
I know what it like definitely. You know, every city has it.
So okay, so let's kind of get back to it. So you do the battle rap thing. Now you're kind of coming up.
Yeah.
You start dropping albums, and what's like the immediate reaction? Because I remember we were talking the other day, and you were like, "This has been like fucking 10 years in the making."
Yeah.
And nobody sees that shit. Everyone just sees that moment.
Yeah,
right?
probably like the intro was stunning.
Yeah.
So like I dropped like a bunch of tape, well, not a bunch, but I dropped like a series called The Learning Curve 1, 2,
Okay.
and 3. Just trying, you know, just trying to make it happen. And in those
It's
days,
a SoundCloud era, almost
exactly.
a little bit before
like
even.
if I showed
Yeah.
you my SoundCloud, like there's so many old private songs that are
Yeah.
from like 20, like 14, 13, like, you know, when I was like, when
Yeah.
I was just coming up, but like people that know, like in Calgary, because I would be selling them shits like physicals, like CDs, you know what I'm saying? So like I'd be like dropping them off, like, you know,
Yeah.
selling weed, dropping this, giving the CD here too,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like bump this, you know, and like just like doing what I could. And those coming up, like selling like, everything, and most of them didn't even sell. Like
Yeah.
I was just like just trying to get it out.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
I thought at those times I had it figured out, which is so funny because like I look back at those songs and I'm like, damn, like this is jokes that I thought I was sick then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure like a lot of artists do
100%.
that. You know?
When
like,
you look back at your work, you always fucking are like, oh.
yeah, you're like, wow. You're like, shit, I thought I was the guy when I did this. You know?
Well, you know what I mean? I think like being part of the exclusive club of actually doing something that's not just school and work is always going to have you feeling like you're doing something, you know, like special.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, like, you know, whether 100 people listen to it or 1 million people listen to it, if you can kind of resonate with one person and somebody shows you love, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty fucking cool, right?
100%, bro.
So
yeah, the
you
battles,
kind of,
So and then I just started getting known as a battle rapper, and I was like, fuck, like I did this to like get my music out, like, not to like do battles, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I gotta like stop this, and like just like try to like just focus on the music, which I did, and then I moved out to Toronto and stuff, like tried it out there, like, you know, did everything I could, and then like I was only doing music and like just like whatever like light side gigs. And I was just at my lowest, you know what I mean? I was like, damn, like, well, I remember 1 month I had to like borrow from my older brother to like pay for my rent there.
what time, like, what age was this? Like,
This was 2019.
2019,
This was
gotcha.
2018.
So you moved to Toronto.
Yeah. So
I
to
do
pursue,
recall you kind
to
of
pursue music, right? Because like I had gone to Toronto a few times, and people be like, "Oh, you gotta come out here. You gotta come out here." And that's how it always is. And then when you get there, people like you don't even link you. We'll link next week. Oh, yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
But so then I went there. And I just remember like being like, fuck, like I'm really down bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, okay. I just like promised myself, I'm like, okay, if this shit doesn't work out by the time I'm like 28, or like, you know, whatever, like, okay, let's, you know, maybe it's just, maybe I am delusional. You know? Because people, you have to be delusional to believe in yourself. So I was like, and rappers, they do a lot of that. So I was like, fuck, maybe I did like start drinking too much of the delusion juice.
Yeah.
And then, but then I just started having this weird like feeling that I was like, man, like something's gonna happen. Like, I just feel like something around the corner is gonna do something. Like something good is coming. There's a good blessing coming. And then I ended up. So I dropped I did like a little mini tour, like like a buy-on, like you pay to go on a tour.
Yeah.
And then like it was cool. I paid like $5,000 to go across Europe, and this was in 2016, right?
Yeah.
So I paid to go all across Europe with my bro Stevie, Garrett, all the homies. You know, it was a legendary time. But like obviously they weren't like lavish shows, but like nonetheless there was a mic and a crowd and you get to perform. You know, and like
a lot of hoes
travel.
or what?
Not really, not for us. You know, they were there like not the ones you would like. You know,
See, I've always thought that, like, you know, even as like a slight, like you're on the show, like I always thought if you go to like Europe or the States, like I just have this image in my head where like they're still just like bitches throwing themselves. They're like, oh, he's a rapper. He's still better than the rest of this fucking.
Yeah, but they're like, this guy's like still here. Like he's still in this place.
And everyone
performing.
actually wants to fuck someone before they make it like super big too, because they have that.
So they can have that stamp.
Yeah.
Like I invested early into that.
Yeah, I fucked that guy. He shot a load of guy.
Bro, girls are so weird for that. Like I don't know. Like I remember, bro. On an unrelated note, one time I was in line at like a Cowboys event. It was like Tiesto or something, right?
Okay.
And like there was like my friend's girl. Like our home girls there, like we just like good looking girl. Like one of the bouncers just came to her like, here, come with us. And then like she came, or like she left for like 10-15 minutes and just came back in line. Like her hair is a little bit messy. She's like, oh, I just fucked Tiesto. And we're just
wow,
like, what? Like
that's fucking sick. Yeah.
I was like, damn, like, you're a hoe. Like,
you know what though? Okay, you know how like guys will fucking fabricate some stories here and there, right?
Yeah.
Do you think girls will do that? Like, what if she got taken to the back and Tiesto's already getting sucked up by two girls, right?
And her heart's broken. She walks in, she's like,
no, she's like trying to get in there, but like, you know, it's good on the other end. So a third is not needed. So she's kind of getting in there, and he kind of just fucks her off.
Yeah.
But like to save face, she has to be like, oh yeah, I fucked him, and he made eye contact with me.
Yeah. Fuck. I guess at that point, man, you gotta save face.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if girls do that.
They do for sure, because I've seen instances of girls lying on guys' names. I've had girls lie on my name. Not to say that I'm some guy like that, but like, you know, nonetheless, still. You know?
So 2019, this is before Steinen, right? Steinen's like maybe like 3 years ago, I guess?
Yeah, Steinen was 2020.
Yeah.
It like popped off like middle of the year during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So 2019, I'm like, fuck, this shit's like, you know, okay, like something's good is going to happen.
Yeah.
So basically, we went on this tour. I made good connections in Poland. The guys were like, stay in touch. So I did, and they're like, yo, before, like, in like 2018, they're like, yo, we have this new artist we're building, send us like a hook or something. I was like, sure. And at the time, he had like, you know, less than 10K followers. And I, like a slam dunk hook.
He's a slag.
No.
Less than 10K, fuck this guy.
No. Like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I say that to say this.
The measurement of a man.
You know, mind you.
Yeah.
No. So like he's like, at the time 7. And then like, I send him the hook. He kills it. Amazing song.
Yeah.
A year later, this guy, they hit me back up. They're like, hey, bro, so he's the biggest like streamed artist in Poland now. He has like 300K followers. He's about to do like a 12-show run in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Come out, just like pay for your flight, and we got you from there, and you can be the opener on the tour.
Yeah.
And like he's on a few festivals, and you'll just get added to the festival lineup. Now every show was like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, like cranker shows. You know what I mean? And a lot of them were in like small, like little pinds too. Like, the pind shows even still had like 500 people.
Oh wow!
And like they didn't even speak English. Yeah. And like they still like were like, that's how I knew. I was like, okay, this is like some shit, because I would go out there, songs that half of them aren't even released. They don't know who I am.
Yeah.
They don't speak English.
Yeah.
But like they're turning up and like they're like loving it, and like people after would like be getting like autographs from me and shit, and be like, yo, like I didn't know who you were when I walked on, but like your actual energy and like your performance and your music, like I'm with you for life now. Like,
yeah.
And then like that just really put a lot of wind in my sails, you know? So I'm in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, this was the blessing. I was like, sick. I was like, now I'm going to go back to Canada and kill it. 4 days later, pandemic, world shuts down. And I was just like, and I was like, can't catch a fucking break over here, you know? And then like, so then like a year before that, in 2019, there was a time when I came out to Vancouver, because like I have family out here, just, you know, jamming out. So I came out here, and shout out my bro Declan, the guy who produced Steinen. He was like, I was out here, you know, enjoying the sunshine. I'm like, bro, send me like some groovy, like, you know, like pop star shit. And like, it's funny, it's the shit that you joke about that comes true. So joke positively about yourself. Because we used to like, I used to hit, like I would do a crazy take or like a recording, and people would be like, damn, that was some Justin Bieber shit. Like that was like, you know, pop star Frank. And ironically, the song that changed our life was a pop song. And like, we don't even make pop before then. So whatever. So I'm like, send me some groovy shit. And he's like, yo, I got, send me a few beats. He's like, yo, and there's one where Curtis has a hook on it, but he doesn't really like fuck with it, so you can do what you want. And I was like, sick. And then I listened to it, and that was stunning. And I was like, fuck, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, what? I'm like, damn. So I freaked it. And then like they liked it too. They like, that kind of got Curtis excited about it again. And then later on, then Declan was like, he's like this was probably like 6 months after that, probably. Like, so, you know, that was in the middle of 2019. Then as I come back from the tour and the pandemic starts, everyone's at home. Declan's like, yo, I want to start dropping my own songs. You know, like Metro featuring like Future. How producers drop songs. So he's like, I want to drop this song, Stunning, like, you know, Declan featuring Curtis and Harm.
Yeah.
And we were like, and ironically, it was so he could get his numbers up on Spotify.
Yeah.
And he's like, and we're like, yeah.
Subtle shot.
No. I'm saying it's ironic because now all of our numbers are up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that was he was just trying to like, just, you know,
Yeah.
he was trying to get some shine too because like we were all doing
Which
our
is
thing.
fair.
Yeah, totally.
Which
Of
is
course.
fair.
That's
Yeah,
like,
100%.
of course. So, and like we were like, sure, drop it. Like, you know, so Curtis had just dropped an album, Pity Party, a great album, very like a soul, like, you know, like you feel that shit is sad, like angsty teenage.
I never knew about Curtis until like maybe like a year or two ago.
Okay,
I didn't even realize he was in Stunning.
Oh shit!
I
way.
realized that many like years later, and I was like, oh, okay.
So like, so me, Declan, and Curtis, we had been making music at that point for already like 6 years.
Yeah.
And like when I met Curtis, he was like just a producer, and like I was just a rapper.
Yeah.
So like he showed me how to like be more vulnerable and like creative and melodic, and I showed him how to like, you know, like structure like the writing, and like I'd help him write his first shits, and like, you know, I helped a lot on the first project, and so the fact that our first moment popped off together, that made it that much more sweet. Because it's like, yo, like the guys, like it wasn't just like a random YouTube beat. It's like we started this shit together and we took it to the top of the as high, as big as you can take it.
Absolutely.
So so then he's like, so Curtis had just dropped a great album, right? And people were already like eyes on him, and people were like, yo, like this kid's special, like this kid is great. And so he already had excitement, right? And he's like, yo, let's wait, like let me drop this album because it's like a sad, like dark album, you know, and this is such a happy song. Let me drop this first, then you can drop that. And Dex is like, all right, cool. So he dropped the album, it did well, like critically, like, you know, obviously it wasn't the commercial success his music is now, but like it was a success, I would say. And then we dropped like a snippet for Stunning, right? And we had never gotten this type of response before. And like people were just like, yo, like this is the one. You guys got to put this on TikTok. Like, whoa, like this is, you know, and we were just like, damn, we're like, okay. Like, so then we just like thought about it for a couple of days. Curtis is like, okay, bros, we're going to go full meme with this. Like he has like 3 little like dinky dance moves that he just always does. And then he just kind of put them together and like made that the dance for it, you know? And luckily for us at the time, he looked like a 15-year-old kid. Yeah. So like it was perfect for TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So Snippet was going crazy. So then, boom, he drops it. Like, you want to know the full like?
Yeah, fuck man, we're here.
Yeah, we're talking. I'm here to chat chat my gums. So fucking. He dropped the snippet on TikTok the first day, and it got like 100K. I don't know. It got like a lot, like, you know, something that like none of our shit had done. We were like, holy shit. We're like, you know, we were joking about like we were sweeping the nation. You know what I mean? And then so we dropped the song that day too, and like it's going like, you know, really well, better than any of our releases have gone. And we're just like, holy shit, like damn, this is fire. Yeah. And then like 1 or 2 like hot TikTok like girls that had like a couple 100K followers. Then they did like the dance. And like with their like little like TikTok like sauce on it, like you know, like that.
See, once you get the validation of the
exactly, and we were like,
you know, like the almost horrors
for sure. Yeah, exactly. Man, almost,
no disrespect.
Almost whores make the world go round. So like,
now you've made it.
I know, I'm just playing though.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for an almost whore to be like repost my shit. Yeah. No, fuck with this guy.
But bro, it's like girls are the tastemakers. Yeah, it's like if girls fuck with something, guys will just fuck like pretend they like it so they can get like have something to relate with the girls to. Yeah. So like 1 or 2 did that, and then like 1 or 2 like transitions, and we were like, damn, we're like, this is going crazy, and like we started getting like offers of like companies being like, yo, give us 50% of the song, we'll give you guys like 3 bands to like promote the song. We were like, oh, like damn, that's pretty crazy. Like, no one had ever given like thrown us. And we were like, okay, like that's not a bad idea. Then like the next week, like a couple of days later, someone's like, yo, we see the value of this, we'll give you 10K to do this. Yeah. We were like, oh. And then like Joe Jonas reached out to Curtis, and he's like, wow, like hit me up. We were like, oh, holy this is fuck, wild. That's crazy. Where were we?
Stunning. You're getting the 10,000 bag.
And then okay, perfect. Yeah. We had to stop. There was a fight on set. Yeah. Like, you know, and Dips knew. All right, so then Curtis's manager, who became his manager, got involved. Chris Anakute. Yeah. He's like an industry shark. Like he used to be like Katy Perry's one of her A&Rs. He used to
open collar, fucking groomed eyebrows.
Not a very nice real shit. And it was
like tan.
And it's not a white guy, he's a black guy. Yeah. So it's like, damn, bro, like you're your brother. Like you're supposed to be, you know, look out for the little guy.
Chris Akunte, smooth talker.
on a Kudai Smooth Talker or whatever. And so he was he used to be the VP of A&R at like Epic as well, right?
Yeah.
So he got on a call with us once. He's like, okay, guys, here's the deal. Like in the music industry, like sometimes you win and sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
You know? He's like mostly you lose.
Yeah.
Once in a while you get a win. He's like, I think this is about to be a really big win.
Yeah.
He's like, and I've been around the merry-go-round a few times, and now I'm gonna take Curtis around it. Like he literally said these words. He's like,
he's
we're
pulling
gonna,
a Jerry Heller on.
He's like, we're gonna go around the merry-go. He's like, yeah. He's like, we're gonna go around the merry-go-round. Like it's about to pop off.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh, okay, sir, like,
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, of course.
And he's telling us, he's like, yo, this isn't gonna just be like a little, like, you know, like you're just gonna make like 30K. Like this is gonna be like, you know, like this is gonna change your guys' life.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow. He's like, but before that, before I get involved, he's like, we gotta get all the legal work ready.
Yeah.
He's like, so just take it down, and then when I get involved, it's gonna go crazy. And we're like, damn. And it had been out for like a week, and he's like, and it had done like 100K across all platforms.
Crazy that he's talking to you exactly like that. He's not like,
No, he's telling us like it is.
He's telling us like the straight thing, you know.
Yeah,
but that's industry talk, I guess. For like, I know these guys have something, I want it, but I'm gonna act like I'm doing them a favor.
Well, to his credit, it wouldn't have gotten as big as it was without him. Like he did make it pop off. He did have those connects. He was a big industry guy.
Yeah.
And he just saw it. He's like, oh, this is candy. Like people are gonna like, this is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Like it was an undeniable. Like, you know, he's like, we can run with this.
Yeah.
And so. He's like, just take it down. He's like, and we were like, what? Are you crazy? Like this has done 100K in a week. Like why the fuck did we take it down? Like he's like, I'm telling you, once I get involved, it's gonna be doing that a day.
Yeah.
And we were like,
yeah.
And at one point, bro, like it was doing like 1.5 million streams a day. Like I have you can see it on Spotify.
Yeah. What's that feeling? Okay, it's like before we get into it, like what's that fucking feeling like? Like not when it's peaked, but like when you know it's starting to fucking pick up steam. You know, and it's like a song is different. Like, because I've had some clips go fucking viral and this like that. I'm telling you, bitches aren't throwing themselves at me in the DMs. And I'm okay to talk about this now because I am newly single. All right, girls? So I'm just going to throw that plug in here. So I'm back to it. I'm back to my fuckboy era. Actually, not really. But
back to my grown boss single era.
You know? But you know what I mean? Like, so I haven't felt that. A song is like so much bigger because it was a thing.
It was a cult
my girlfriend at the time, like, let me listen to that, or not let me, but she had it on her radio, and she was like, "Oh, this is such a weird song." And she's like, "I love it."
Yeah.
And the first time I heard it, like, I had no idea it could come from brown people or opponent.
For sure.
And then after
people think it's like some twink white guy that made it, you know?
After I learned it was you, because I'd heard about you before, I was like, okay, this guy's doing his thing. He's kind of out here. Yeah. But like, I was like, holy fuck, like this guy made a radio banger. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
damn, he did it. Yeah.
I was like, fuck, this guy's having a good time.
I'm cooped up. Well, I'm cooped up with this bitch. But fucking.
So what's that feeling like when it starts to snowball?
Man, so like me and Curtis kind of had a regional hit before that a couple of years ago called Hot Boy Anthem, you know? And that's why on my verse, that's kind of a subtle wink to our OG fans. Like, I used to be a hot boy, but I'm straight gorgeous now. So like people that know that, they're like, yo, that's sick that you like do that in there, you know?
Layers.
So it was like kind of like it was like a regional hit, you know? But it wasn't like this level. So when it started happening, bro, it felt like a video game. It felt like it wasn't even real. Like the numbers were just going so like up and up and up and crazy numbers we've never like seen before. And we were just like, oh my God, it was like unbelievable. I felt like it was like, oh my God, please, like I was like, please don't wake me up. I'm like, please don't let this be a fucking dream. I'm like, I was like in shock almost, like disbelief. Like, cause you've been through so much shit. People like for so long, like, you know what I mean? Like 10 years, 9 years, like people grinding, like you're like, you know, when you're not doing it, it's like you're pathetic. Like, this guy, like, thinks he's gonna be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that though. It's like you know that, man. But like people don't say it to you, but like you know that, right? So and it's like when it starts happening, you're like, oh my God, you feel like fucking the first time like Spider-Man like hits a fucking thing, like the web in the wall. You're like, oh no way. You're like, oh shit. You're like, no way, this is about to actually happen. You know, you're like, thank you. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God. Like literally like looking at God, like in the sky, like, oh my God, like, thank you, God. You listened.
fucking
Like, I
crazy,
can't
man.
believe this is like no way it's finally my turn. Because I've had friends that like, I'm shout out Baby No Money. Like he's always been a big
Yeah.
homie to us. And like, we've all been buddies since we were all like 200 followers. Like, you know, and like I was the first feature he ever did was with me.
Yeah.
And then, and before La 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 popped off, you know, when I popped, so before
Yeah.
that, we did a show in Calgary and I drove up with him to Edmonton.
Yeah.
And he showed me that song. And like, I was like, damn, bro. I'm
Yeah.
like, this could really turn up the world. I'm like,
Yeah.
you already have a fan base. And like, plus this, like, damn. And 6 months later, that shit turned up the world.
Yeah.
And that just showed me like, okay, if my friends are doing this, that means I'm getting closer. Like,
Yeah.
I can do this. And they say my shit is
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay. So then when it started happening, I was like, oh my God, like it's finally about to be my chance.
Yeah.
Like it's finally going to be
Yeah.
my turn. Like everything was worth it. Like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah,
aha.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like a aha. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I told you guys,
Yeah.
you know, so
Now-
that's how it started feeling.
In this moment, you know, you have extreme gratitude, but is there a moment that you kind of lose yourself and you lose your mind and like you start feeling like
That,
you know all because like this is one of the things I don't know if we talked about this the other day, but
yeah.
you know when you become successful without really what's the word like kind of working on yourself, like you got shitty qualities, you know, and we all have shitty qualities and we kind of have to evolve out of them, right?
Sure.
But you become successful while you still have those shitty qualities, and now all of a sudden you're fucking here and you're thinking, okay, the way I am is what got me rewarded, so why the fuck would I change anything,
That's real.
you know, in terms of, you know, like how I kind of continue to get the success. Was there an aspect that, because you were young,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, at that time, you know,
Yeah.
25, 26-year-old kid basically,
Yeah, yeah.
and you got this fucking level of this global hit essentially.
Yeah.
I saw it on Spotify today. I looked up 330 million views just on Spotify,
Yeah.
like about 50 million on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, who the fuck watches a YouTube video?
Yeah, it's a billion, including the radio spins, it's past 1 billion.
Wow.
Like, I have a
So
plaque
you
for
got
that.
a billion.
Yeah, Billy Boys.
Fucking most people will never smell the farts of a billion fucking listens or
it's a
views
blessing.
or anything.
Yeah, bro. Like the losing, like that didn't come yet. So like we're
Okay.
still in the early, like oh my God,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like wide eyed,
Yeah.
you know, and even like everything that happened, like it started like there was some like whack shit that was happening too, because like Curtis's manager wouldn't let me get the monthly listeners for it on
Yeah.
Spotify, which is like that
A sizable bag, I guess.
Not even a bag. It's like Spotify is an algorithm. It's a
Okay.
computer. So if you have it jumping like this with like a mega hit happening,
It's gonna push
when
other
you drop,
songs. Yeah,
when you
yeah.
drop the next like other songs, you're just like, oh, this guy's already like this guy's a big like
Yeah.
you know, like okay, like streamline this.
Yeah.
So like that's what I wanted, and like I would go to the manager and he'd be like, no, like this is not how it's done. Like I don't want to talk about this. And eventually I would text him and he'd be like, if this is about the Spotify stuff, I don't even want to hear it. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Fuck,
Like,
so
bro,
it got
this
to
is
that.
And
Yeah.
at one point my monthly listeners was 50,000, a very respectable number.
Yeah.
Curtis's was like 12 million.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to talk to him and like I've asked multiple times and I'm like, bro, like we started this as partners, like
Yeah.
everything down the middle, and now it's like Chris is involved, and he's telling me I'm lucky to be here.
Yeah.
When it's like like we slept on floors
Yeah.
together, like your parents know me, my mom knows you.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like, man, we've been through all this, and it's like now that there's like big money involved, it's like now it's that this is
Yeah,
what it
there's
is.
this new guy
you know,
in
and
there,
it's like
yeah.
he was obviously divvying it up and telling him shit, so he gets the most, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
out of
yeah.
everything, rather than it being like how
Yeah.
it should, whatever. But and fuck, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just so many emotions because I haven't talked about this shit for
But
so
you know,
long.
okay,
know?
just gather yourself for a minute, but like I can add this in.
Yeah.
Like it's such a classic music industry story. Like I hear it, like I've heard people on Joe Rogan talk about it, like artists that he brought in the guy from Smashing Pumpkins. It's the exact same story.
Yeah.
Managers getting the head, and these guys are just like,
Yeah.
it's a meat grinder of a fucking business.
Absolutely.
And
bro.
they're just like, okay, how do we get,
Yeah.
you decide who's the fucking winning horse,
Yeah.
and you
like
pull them away from everything.
and like turn the actual real like
Yeah.
make him think that the actual people that care about him
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Like you're the only one that
Yeah.
cares, you know? Okay, so this is like obviously bothering me, right? And then I'm like, I talked to my manager who's
Yo.
like also who knows Chris, right?
Yeah.
And like he's in the industry, a big guy. And he's like, yo, you can't take it personal. Like he's looking out for his artist. He's
Yeah.
looking out for his best interest. Da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. He's like, obviously it comes out of like insecurity. They think you're like, they're trying to thumb you. You know, they don't want you to like
Yeah.
elevate like that. And I'm like, man, I'm like, it is
What
personal.
difference does that make to
I'm-
them? Yeah.
I'm like, it is personal.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like, I consider this guy literally like a younger brother to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's like, I actually consider family. And like, he's like, nah, you can't. He's like, look at it from his perspective. He's like a 19, 20-year-old kid. This guy is making him rich. Everything he's saying is going to happen is actually happening. He's like, so it's like, you know, like,
are you guys friends from the industry though, or like Curtis? You and Curtis? Like,
hell no. Like, we were just friends like through like people in Calgary that were like liked music. Like, I used to fuck with these like whatever like rapper dudes who were just like whatever, and then I realized, I'm like, yo, like there's too many egos. I'm like, I feel like I actually fuck with producers as like people more. And then I'm like, I just need to build a super team of producers. And then I just low key I brought together like the Avengers of producer kids like in Calgary at the time, and Curtis was the missing link. And then because the old rappers I used to fuck with would like poison his head and be like, yo, this guy's so he was reluctant. But then when he joined, it was like, bro, it was like magic. You know what I mean? That was the first time we like felt that, like, oh shit, like, like, you know. And then so it was beyond that. Like, we had become real friends. We've traveled to different cities. We've traveled, we've like slept in like hot fucking on the floor together. You know what I mean? Like for music, like not for money. Like we weren't making money. We weren't making money at all. Like if you know. And there was times where he was gonna quit music. You know, he was gonna like, man, my parents are right. I should just I'm gonna go to school for IT. Like fuck this shit. And I was like, I would tell him, I'm like, no, like fuck that. Like bro, like you have a special gift. Like people are gonna need this and love this. Like I felt it so strong in my soul when he would make shit. I'm like, bro, this is like world shit. Like people are gonna connect in this in their soul because I feel it so much in my soul. And look at it, I was right. So it's like I was like, you know, and even Declan, he would always say it when it started popping off. He's like, damn, bro, like you always were the one that would say that like the world is gonna fuck with this shit. You know, I was always the one that was like, this is gonna happen. So then fucking so of course it really bothered me. And like I remember one time I was like talking to my mom while I was in LA and like just so upset. And she's like, what? Like, give me his number. I'll talk to him. Like, that's how tight we were. Like, our families knew each other, right? And I tried talking to him once, and I'm like, bro, like, don't you want to see me succeed like you? Like, look at Thug and Gunna. Everyone knows Thug came first. He put Gunna on, and now everyone wants Gunna too, but they want even more Thug. And then, like I said, every time they link up, it's boys are back. And he's like, yeah, I know, like, I'm trying, but like, Chris isn't like, you know, like I don't want to go against these guys. And I'm just like, I would just like, man, like fuck this shit, bro. Like, you know, the artist makes the choice, but like knowing now what I know, like how Chris is, like he was like, Chris was bullying me.
And he's twisting the words around too, right? It's just like, you know, be like, you know, the feeling I get from talking to this guy is he's fucking butthurt. You know that you're here. Like that's how these fucking manipulations kind of work, right?
Bro.
And like you always gotta fucking speak right to the source and be like, let's actually
like, figure this out.
And but like, these sorry to cut you off, but these type of fucking sharks, they plant seeds, right? Like watch next time you know you talk to him, he's gonna say something like this, and he's like, that's gonna be your fact of knowing that this guy's trying to manipulate you.
Real shit.
Because these guys are analyzing every fucking word you say, they can figure out how you actually feel.
Master manipulators.
And they're gonna fucking appeal to you in a way.
Make you think that they're on your side.
That's what it is. I don't know how you become that person, but you do have to be a certain type of person to do that role and be good at it, as this guy was.
100%, bro. So like all this is so Curtis says all this stuff, and like that just like broke my heart, you know what I mean? So for a while I just followed him, like not out of like anger. It's like it just hurt me to see. I'm like, damn, bro, I can't believe this is like, I would always say never us, you know, like I'm like, now look at us. And then like, so Curtis was I didn't know this, but Curtis was going through it with Chris on his own at this time, right? So like he would show him some new music, and Curtis makes like eclectic, like avant-garde music.
Absolutely.
You know? So and Curtis would be like, this isn't a hit. Like, this is not, we can't release this. Like, your sponsors don't want this. And we never made music on that
pop level, like, right?
Yeah, we made it to enjoy, like, we made what we liked, and we made it because we loved it. So, like, this is fucking up with his mind, and he can't draw music. And, like, Curtis, he would try to talk to his, like, label, like graphic design, and he couldn't because Chris has already bitched them out. And like and you know, so he was just like was bullying everybody. He's just like a bully. And then Curtis is not as like confident as me. He's more soft spoken, like nice guy. So I can only imagine how he's getting dealt with, you know. And then he was actually asking, and I say the Baby No Money shit because he told me he asked Alex for advice once. You know what I mean? Because I would come to him too.
Alex?
Oh, sorry, Baby No Money.
Okay, gotcha.
So one time I was like, bro, like they're not letting me do this. Like, what should I do? He's like, you know, I'm like, I tried talking to Curtis. He says it makes it uncomfortable. He's like, bro, fuck that. Like, have that uncomfortable conversation. Like, I've seen you guys. You guys are bros. Like, what the hell? Like, this shouldn't be, you know?
100%.
And then so Curtis is asking him for advice as well. He's like, man, my manager and I, like, this is such a toxic relationship. Like, he's like cut off off, like he's made like cut off everyone that like I fuck with, and like he's done all this whack shit. Like I don't know what to do. So and then Alex gave him all this advice. He's like, yo, you got to do this, and then he's like, and then when he's like, one thing you have to do as well is you have to take care of the people that were with you from the jump before everyone was.
100%,
he's like, so you have to make things right with Harm and give him the monthly listeners at least so he can like level up and do his own shit.
Well, what's the value of having the monthly listeners once the steam starts to come off a little bit? Is that still going to push your shit?
It still helps and like still gets you opportunities and whatnot, and like it still like shows you're on that level. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've noticed, you know, in just the industry as itself, and me and Kyle have been in this fucking game long time.
Yeah.
And this has been my experience, is that a lot of people, when I was kind of like, not that I'm up anywhere, right? But when I was like completely insignificant and I reach out to people, and you know, you want to just think that everyone fucks with each other because we're going through the same struggle. And there wasn't a lot of that at all.
Not at all.
Unless you could do something for someone, unless they could kind of see value in you, there was just like, no, like, I'm going to fuck with this guy.
I see that even now at the level I'm at now.
Yeah. And I try to definitely return the favor in terms of like, yo, if somebody fucks with me to the point that they're like, yo, we're starting a podcast or we're doing this kind of shit. Like, can you come on? I'll be 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you reached out to me.
For sure.
If it was like there's so many people who act the stupid ass fucking ego about like remaining exclusive and things that. And it's gross.
Yeah, literally, it is gross.
Because anyone who enters, like, I don't think there's any rules to this industry either. It's what everyone thinks are the rules, which is to kind of keep yourself selective of, you know, all this kind of shit. 100%. And unfortunately, the people who do that are actually operating at higher levels.
Yeah.
Who are kind of being shiesty and not open and fucking like picking and choosing. So that's the gross part of it. Right?
In entertainment, like, you don't get rewarded for being a good person.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
actually, unless you're Nav. I think Nav is probably the best example.
Yeah.
Because you think about it. Like, what value does he actually offer aside from being an awesome guy? Like, why do people fuck with him?
Nav.
Like, think about, like, you know, Gunna doing a song with him, fucking Travis Scott doing songs with him, all these bigwig guys doing songs with him. Yeah. It must be because he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, real shit.
There can't be any other reason.
Yeah.
He's not bringing you bitches.
Bro, there's one
like,
song.
Initially,
bro, he got one verse from Future on the song My Business where it's like such like one of Future's best guest verses ever.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I'm like, he must be a sick guy. I have actually met and chilled and smoked with Nav, so shout out Nav. But I was a little high on shrooms that day, so I was a little loopy. So I was like, you know, it's not the best first impression.
I don't fuck with Harm.
Not hey, you know, I don't know, man. But we were chilling, smoking. It's all good. You know, no, it's all good. Even if he doesn't.
But he just must be an awesome person that you would get ahead. So I always like to add that in.
Sure, it does help. It does help.
So carry on, man. So like, you know, like you're kind of going through this, and now like you guys are almost at your peak.
Yeah.
What's the peak look like?
It was at his peak at this time. This is when I was living in LA, just like wilding. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, like, I'm sure like people could resonate with, like, could feel this too. Like
I don't think a lot of people could resonate.
No. What I'm about to say, they could resonate. They could, or actually, I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
No, but so then he talked to, and then Curtis hit me up out the blue, out of nowhere. He's like, hey, bro, like, I owe you a massive apology. Like, I've let people get into my ear and ruin my own confidence and my own like perception. And I know I've been thinking about like how wrong this shit is, and I felt so guilty. I'm really sorry, and I've put my foot down this time that like you will get that, the listeners, and like I'm just sorry about that, you know. And like
half a bottle of whiskey deep.
Yeah, maybe he's not even like that. He's not that type of guy. So it's like, man, like I was like, man, it takes an actual, real, genuine friend to like. Address that they fucked up, apologize, but then actually make it right too.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? Like I was like, it's okay, man. You know, like I forgive you. Like I really appreciate you saying this and doing this. Like I knew you'd come around, maybe in a couple years, and I didn't think it was going to be in a couple months. So I really appreciate that. And then when we met up in LA and like you know, just like had talked about it and hashed it out, he was telling me this shit with like Chris. Like he's like, bro, I would tell them to do it. And like Chris would just be like, no, like this isn't how business is done. And like that's what he would always say. This isn't how business is done. And Curtis is new to the business, so he's like, okay,
of course,
like, this is how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then and everything he's saying is working. So he's like, all right, like this. I guess this is what it is now. And then like Curtis would do features with other people, and it would show up on his monthly listeners on his top 5. He's like, okay, wait. wait, so like that's not true though, because we're doing it for my shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then one time Chris said, so he'd always be like, Harm is against you, like Declan is against you, like Drew is, these people are against you. And then one day he's like, your family is against you.
Yeah.
And like Curtis may be whitewashed, but he's still a brown boy at heart. So that's like what, like, wait, what? It's like my family. He's like, my mom, like, that he said something so inherently wrong that made him realize that, like, wait, like, this guy's just a fucking asshole. Like, this is not true. Like, this. Then he had to go back and realize everything, and that's when it all happened. And I was like, damn, bro. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Well, everyone's aware, right, of what that is. But when I guess you're locked in and you got that hit and you're riding that high. Yeah, and your life it's just like a nonstop. Like, okay, how much further can we? Yeah.
And he's like, I chose so hard to not let this shit change me, but and in result, it did change me.
He's a kid though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How old is he now?
He's 24 now.
24
like
now?
23, 24.
But still like a young kid. Like, and at that time he's 21. Like, think about 20. That.
Yeah, he was 19, 20.
Yeah.
So he was a real young buck.
Yeah.
But so like, I was like, yeah, I feel you. Like, that's real shit. Like, but at that time I was like sad about that, but at the same time I was having the time of my life. Like living in LA in the hills, like, like doing it,
Yeah.
And actually that's
people
where
knew
I kind of
you were on that song. You were letting everyone know.
Exactly.
You know the song?
So I can relate. So me and my bros, Spencer too, who's from Van, we've both kind of had this where, like, when you have for 10 years grinded at something and everyone's like dogging you and like, like you're like shitting on you, and then you prove everyone wrong and you like do it, you want everyone and their mom to know. You want everyone and their dog to know. They're like, this is what the fuck it is now. Like, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, eventually you do that and then like you do it to the point where you're like, yo, you know what? I'm actually like satisfied now. Like, cause at first you're just like, you want to do all the shit you could never, and like all the shit you dreamed of doing, and like, like that, I don't want to say too much, but like, crossing things off the list, so just experiences. So, all that. And it's like, man, once you do that enough, you're like, you know what? Okay, I'm good. Like, I've kind of got that out of my system now, like living for others. You're like, this is more for other people than me.
But like, living in LA and shit, would you reach out to like nightclubs and stuff? Yeah, yo, I did that fucking song. I'm coming out, like, let's do that.
Or I'd meet the promoters would randomly meet me at like some mansion party and be like, oh, that's you? Yeah. Like, yo, come host here. And like, shit like that. Or like, there's always something cool or fun to do.
What a fucking ride, man.
For
that
where,
must
like,
have been.
For what we were doing, there's always like, in LA, there is always some shit to do. Some event and like, but mostly if you like, if you're genuine, you'll meet genuine dope people that are trying to on a mission too. So like I was with like some cool people and like working with sick people. So it's like, it just felt so good to like literally, bro, manifesting is real. Cause it's like 3 years before that is what I saw myself doing. Like living in the hills, going to like banger sessions at like the fucking Def Jam offices, like Paramount, like working with people I've dreamt of working with, like literally doing, I was like, wow, man. And I've actually been lacking on that. So I need to get back on that tip, because it's like, like manifesting is just half of it, but it's like most people just like think and dream all day, but it's like you gotta actually go do that shit. Because I used to say that, I'm like, man, I did that. They're like, no, you didn't just dream it. They're like, you actually you did it. You went and got it. So it's
and like, philosophical question: is it better to have it and have lost it, or to never have had it at all? You kind of get what I mean?
I feel, damn, that's an interesting one, man. Yeah. Cause like I haven't I have not lost anything, but it's like I feel it's better to have had it and lost it.
100%.
At least you got to experience
everything's experience, right?
Exactly.
Everything's fucking highs, lows, et cetera, et cetera. It's like if you can like kind of experience that, like, I guess, pinnacle moment from what general population of people think of being a singer or musician is, right? Yeah. So you got that for a little bit. And like, we talked about it afterwards. Like, I still think my biggest moment's still yet to come.
Absolutely.
And absolutely, man. I mean, it's you kind of continue doing it and just kind of keep going, you'll pop off in one way or another.
For sure,
bro.
I just never gave up.
I always say like, and again, I think we had this conversation, but once, like, life's too short to not do something that you love to do. Mm-hmm. But once you start doing something that you love to do, even if it's like an hour a week or whatever the fuck it is, you got all the time in the world to make that happen.
Yeah.
And like, as you get better, you will start focusing more time towards getting it, and like that's kind of how it's gonna go, right?
100%.
So you got this, like, now, okay, the high's done, so you're back to normal You know, like how long does it take for that? How long was that period?
I was on the
I
was on a high for a long time.
Coming back to Calgary, you know, letting everyone know, like, what's a homecoming in Calgary with that song?
Because I was gone for a while, so that first Stampede back, it was like, man.
Did you get to play Stampede?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
At the festival Badlands. It was me, Manila Gray, and Don Tolliver.
Yeah.
So it was a great event, and like, man, it was like, wow. It's like the
reception.
Like, I dreamt of that. I used to be in those tents, like beating people up. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like I'm the guy up there being like, yo, don't beat people up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, it's like that first, because I missed the one as it was popping. I wasn't really around for that Stampede. Then the next Stampede, I was living in LA. So then the Stampede in like 2022 is when I came back after Fashion Week, and it was like, man, it was like literally like hometown hero. Like I was with my one boy, we were at like an event. I was shaking so many hands, and like I was like, bro, I'm a politician. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm
Absolutely.
like, you know, and then we started joking around that I'm the mayor, because it was like, you know, it was really like hometown feeling, and like I would go back to old like restaurants I would go to, and they would just be like, oh my, yo, like it's you, like yo, like, you know, like free dinners here, free this here, like hook up everywhere. I was like, damn, I was like, this is nice.
Did you notice people who had switched up on you?
Oh, of course. It's like, you know, the picture of like the support a part of the applause. Yeah. You know what I mean? The congratulations is always loud and the support is like deaf. So it's like, man, it's like, I relate that whole experience to like, and music and everything. A really good analogy is like, man, it's like you're throwing a party, right? And it's like your homies and your friends that are in the party that are like, they're like, bro, this is a legendary party. This is like a nuts. And then like everyone else, there's like, this is the haters are like, oh, like look at these lames, like having a little dinky party. And then there's some people that are like, oh, yo, I'll let you know if I can make it. And then they start seeing like famous people showing up to the party. They start seeing people that they love and have respected for years showing up to your party. They're like, what the they're like, dude, this guy's party? They're like, okay, yo, we're going to go to the party. They're like, yo. Then everyone shows up and everyone's like jamming out too. And it's like, you're like, all right, man, welcome to the party. Sure.
Like, you let it go down, you know, like whatever.
People are supposed to treat you different. Yeah. You know, like someone said that to me because I was like,
crazy.
Man, I said that to somebody. I was like, man, I like read a text like, man, fuck this guy. Like, this, I remember I reached out to this guy before and like he wouldn't even reply. And now he's like, yo, man, we got to link up. I'm like, what a lame. He's like, bro, like, what do you expect? Like, people aren't going to believe until you give them a reason to believe. He's like, they're supposed to treat you different once you like level up. And I was like, that's true too.
That is true. But you know, you can, I mean, those are people that maybe you like, you don't fuck with, but like, you know, you treat it as business at a certain point, right? Be like, this is business to network like that. But they're not people that you'll ever let on like the inner circle and things like that.
Exactly. It's like, yo, you know, like instead of doing what you did to me, I'm not going to be the bitch that you were. Like, I'll be like, sure, open arms, man. And like when you're coming, like, you know what it is. Like, you know what a bitch you were. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely, man. You know, I think it's always going to be the case. Like people who are more receptive to kind of more access, you definitely grow. And I think success is a big part of that, understanding that like somebody doing it's not diminishing your thing. Because especially in today's day and age, we got so many fucking audiences for everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? This one girl I know, she was at this like weird, it was just like some guys playing some instruments while like some random camcorder footage of like black people in the ghetto is, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, there's an audience for this. Even it's 50 people. It's like, it's like some guy like smoking a cigarette.
And just like sad imagery.
Just a guy smoking a cigarette and some like lady fucking doing braids in the street.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you never know, man. You never know till you try it.
You know, so that's what I mean. Like, there's so much stuff. And like, I think the whole process of accumulation of influence is, even if I get one person here, 10 people here, 100 people here, just keep fucking pulling that in until you can kind of rise to whatever level that you consider success.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, now it's like, I'm really doing it for me. Like now it's like, with my sound and what I'm coming with now, it's like I'm just so like confident and sure of myself and like know what I want, that before it was like I was trying to experiment and show people that, yo, I could do this, I could do that. Yeah. But it's like, nah, like now is just time for that. Like, you know, like my collaborators and friends, when they hear it and stuff, like they know what it is. Yeah. But they're like, people don't know like that. They're like, you know, like until you show them. So it's like, you know, it's like now like I'm really just like, I'm just ready to show people. And I'm ready to just like, I'm just like so much in a better place.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like you said, like when the wrong things are going right,
Yeah.
and like you just keep doing the wrong
Yeah.
things. It was never the wrong things. It was just lack of discipline.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready. I was just like, when, like, you know, like
Yeah.
I just been waiting for that. And
Yeah.
like you're trained to like, oh, once you get it, go
Now
like do
coast.
all the
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
that
yeah,
you want,
yeah.
you know. But it's like, nah, like, you know, you don't have like. So now I've kind of like
Yeah.
smartened up and grown out of that, and now I just feel I'm just so much more like prepared
Yeah.
and like me,
Yeah.
and like for this next chapter.
100%, man.
And even like when it happened, I always knew that I was gonna like do something crazy. Then it was like something was
Yeah.
gonna happen to like bring me back down to prepare me for what's really gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what's happening?
100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, okay, your last mixtape or album was 2023, I believe, right? Or 2022?
Yeah, I think it's 2023. Yeah, the
2023?
summer.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Number
it
one on
hasn't. Yeah. You know, I hit number 1 on Amazon.
my guy,
Yeah.
let's go. Number one, boys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I
That's
mean,
sick.
like, it was when I dropped the book like years ago.
You dropped a book?
I did. Number 1 best-selling author.
Shut
You don't know
the
about my book?
No.
Oh, wow.
What? The Doctor of Thugonomics for
No,
real?
no, it's a poetry book about my escapades with women.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'll give you a copy. I'll send you a copy.
I would have loved that. That's
I'll
crazy.
send you a copy. You'll enjoy that. You'll enjoy that. And
Damn, bro.
I mean, out of everything, whether it brought me acclaim or anything like that, I was, that's probably the favorite thing I ever did.
It's a
It
stamp.
was different.
That's a stamp, bro. Wow.
Yeah, but
Banda Lekvilanda, that's crazy.
the way that the algorithm worked was like I got a bunch of sales at that moment.
Yeah.
It elevated
And it just
me.
kept rolling,
I
yeah.
have the screenshot of me being number 1 over Rupi Kaur. But Rupi Kaur, he'd been out for like so many
like
years.
6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah. But nonetheless, that
I got
day,
that. Both
that
their
day you got her.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, like that day you were the better man.
Only Rands was on top.
You were the bigger author than Rupi
Yeah.
Kaur that day.
Yeah.
Like, that's sick.
I drop that all the time when I'm talking to girls now.
That's your hero?
You know, even no, even when I met my previous girlfriend, we dated for 4.5 years, right? That's when I dropped the book.
While you were
She-
with her, she must have been not amused.
No. Like, she met me through the book.
Oh,
she was one of the
wow.
first 25 people to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Man.
had that fucking going on. I should have knew. You know, she was groupie.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I love her. We're amicable.
Not for long. Not at this rate.
No, it's all good. It's all love,
bro.
But like now, like, you know, while I'm on fucking, like, I'm back in the dating mix and shit. I was like, you know, I wasn't done. I try to like humble play it. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way. But yeah, man, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, bro.
What were we
It's
talking
funny with
about?
with my ex too. Like, I could never listen to unreleased music with her.
Yeah.
Because like she'd be like, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
my Asian bitch rocking a jade necklace. She's like, oh, what Asian bitch? Like, you know, I'd be like, oh, like sometimes, and I'm like, yo, like it's just for the line. Like,
Yeah.
I like sometimes I say I got a Portuguese bitch. I don't know any
Yeah,
Portuguese
yeah,
person.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, or like I'd be like saying something that like she could tell that like I'm talking about her, and I'm like, oh, this is. Fucking
Yeah.
Can't, like, or like I have to talk over that part of the song. Like, yo, so like, what do you want to eat? Like,
The beauty of dating opportunity, you know.
yeah, bro. Fuck.
See, like, okay, so that's the thing. Like, I mean, a girl who's dating you, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got to understand what she's kind of involved with. I mean, not saying you're a shit guy, but you know, it's rapper lifestyle. You know,
Yeah.
You got to be out in the mix, and you know, like at a certain point, you know, there are girls that are around, and she got to fucking know that. You know, it's kind of the same thing when you're dating only.
Yes,
They
it's
know
worse.
that-
It's tougher.
They know that I'm in the mix. They know the hose is throwing it.
You
And
know
I'm
you're
like,
in the
nah.
VIP party, you know, places I can't get in.
You know, I'm signing tits and shit. That's when I'll know I've made it.
Yeah, real shit. Yeah.
But so, like, what do
don't worry.
you
Next
think?
time you come to Van, I'm just gonna or Calgary. I'm just gonna like get like a girl, be like, yo, dude, I'm gonna give you $100. Let's get sign your tit.
Yeah, fuck, I'd like that. But you can't let me know.
I ruined it now. Fuck. Ruined my technique.
But so, like, okay, so I mean, how did you find that maybe affected your relationship or whatever? If you
Well-
want to get into it, I mean, we don't have to get too deep.
Of course it strains it, man.
Yeah.
It's like, unless a girl is prepared for that, you know? But
Yeah.
it's like, a girl has to really be secure, like
Yeah.
very secure with herself. And it's
Or
like,
she just has to understand what it is.
yeah, that too. That, or it's like, but it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't do myself any favors by making, like, you know, I don't know what necessarily in relationships always
No.
do the best to make them feel secure. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like everyone is responsible for the situation that they're
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So it's like you got to take accountability for yourself too, you know. But like, yeah, it's like definitely, you know, being with someone in this like entertainment lane and someone that doesn't work a 9 to 5, like it's not easy because most people haven't even dealt with it before.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
What
Of
the
course,
fuck? Like,
of
what do you
course.
mean you're not waking up to work? Like, what do you mean you're like chilling? Like, what?
You know, because they probably got a different idea in their mind of dating creatives, right? Like I had that thing, like I wanted to date a fucking girl who was painting or fucking writing
me
or some
too. I
shit
used to
like
have
that,
that
you
like
know?
that. Yeah.
You know, she wears a fucking toque, you know, listens to Frank Ocean
Thick
and shit.
rim glasses.
No, I thought I wanted that for a long time until I started seeing girls like that, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like-
I was like, "I don't want this at all. This is
You're a horrible
lot of
person.
headache." And, you know, she's so self-aware and shit.
Bitch, you're too slick.
Like, I can't handle this shit. And, you know, so like girls who are dating, you know, guys like you, you know, me to a lesser degree, they gotta understand like, you know, what it is, and maybe they're in love with the idea of you and not with who you actually are at a certain point.
Yeah, it's like
Romanticized version.
dealing, you know, and when it's funny because it's like the amount of tension that we get, that's how much like a normal girl just gets for being hot. So it's like, yo,
yeah, I'm still not getting that.
no, yeah, it's like, you know what I mean?
Mostly
You're
from
like,
dudes, unfortunately. No bro,
shout out to the Rand Hive, the Randy Hive. I got the Harmy. What's your like supporters called?
I don't even know, man.
We'll figure
I
it
should
out.
figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
should
Rand
figure that out.
Brigade or something.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Workshop it. But we're in a creative space. You know, we'll take it to the writer's room. No, but fucking, oh, fuck. What was the question, bro?
I can't remember.
I don't know. Galna Guach ke.
Yeah.
Mitran galna guach.
Okay, so whatever. Let's get
That'd be a
past
jokes
that.
clip, right?
So what's the future look like now, man? Like, what's, you know, you said you're gonna drop this album soon. Like, when can people expect it?
So people can expect just undeniable music from me.
Okay.
That's like what I'm really just trying to focus on. Like undeniable. Like
Yeah.
now I see what people really like from me more so
Yeah.
is like just like legendary, like last year, those are my most popular songs beside like solo songs. So it's like, okay, like people want that just like easy listening rap, not easy listening, but it's like smooth rap that's like with like what I give them that drip motivation. You know what I mean? The inspiration. So now I've just locked in on that and like I'm about to really flood this shit. Like I have a lot of content, a lot of music ready. I have the project, the album is going to be called Undeniable.
Yeah.
Because like that's what the fuck is going to be, is undeniable. And then I have a EP before that is going to be called Before Undeniable.
Yeah.
Crazy name, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
like Travis Scott, you know?
Before, exactly.
Beeps before the,
'Cause it's like, you know, it's like I can't put it all on one.
Yeah.
So it's like this is like the warm up, and I have like a few videos ready and like a lot of stuff ready, and it blows my old anything you've seen from me in the past. It blows it out of the water like times 3 minimum. You know? We about to 3x.
Yeah.
You know, no Solana.
Absolutely. So let's get, you know, let's wrap it up, man. Let's,
I was going to ask you something.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
What I think is super fire is how in Van, or like just, you know, West Coast in general, there's like the bubbling like kind of scene of like the content creators and like funny like, you know, like YouTubers, vloggers, like, and you guys are all actually kind of like a unit and all fuck with each other. Yeah. Like how is that like, how's navigating that and how did that come apart?
Honestly,
and I want to say I love yours and Parm's kind of dynamic because you're just like the goon like OG and like he just like the young like wide-eyed youngin and you're just like, yo, like,
you know, I will actually credit that mostly to Parm because like I think he and that's from my perspective, right? I mean, maybe some of the other guys are gonna get salty, but like
he's the Justin Timberlake of the NSYNC.
From my understanding, is like he's able to find talent in people, and he's able to be like, it's not so much like if you have so many followers, but he can see like, okay, you're coming in, and he's actually creating the scene. He's not so worried about just putting himself on. Yeah, and of course, he's the conductor, you know, but.
He lets everyone shines.
I would definitely say he lets everyone shine.
That's what's
you
up,
know what
man.
I mean, and he's put everyone up. So, it's been fun. I mean, you know, I'll continue working with them in the future and things like that. But you know, I'm kind of focusing more on my own shit now too.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, I've always had an issue with production and editing and technology, but I'm getting better now.
Real hunk.
Slowly but surely. Fucking final words for the viewers, man. Like,
let's keep winning.
Let's keep winning.
Don't give up.
There you go. Okay, that's another episode. Thank you, Harm. There you go. Appreciate it.